Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe Muro. And now, here's Zoe.
Hello, folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the New Thought Media Network, and welcome to Choice, Your Creative Superpower. My name is Zoe Muro. I am indeed a religious science practitioner, and I am also a transformational coach. My mission, my ministry, my purpose in life is to help people understand how they can live their lives to the fullest. So if you're coming back, great to see you here again. If this is your first time coming to the show, well, welcome. And you know, you've tuned in on a very important episode. What we do here is we explore. We explore how wielding your superpower for the greatest good, for the greatest good, can co-create a most fulfilling life experience. After a touch less than 2 years, just a little bit less than 2 years, we've actually come to the end of this exploration. Well, the exploration on this show, that is, because I sincerely do hope that you'll continue exploring your relationship with choice. So today, in our final episode, our last waltz, our finale, episode 82, we'll be looking at a recap of sorts. Or better yet, think of it as like a travelogue on this journey through the many aspects of choice. Hello, Shay. Why, thank you. It is definitely a time to celebrate. Appreciate that. Okay, so now I don't really just want to simply list all the topics that we've covered and call that a recap, right? There's been quite a few, but I want you to take a look at something here. This is a word picture, word cloud, whatever you want to call it. Every time I look at this, something different stands out for me. But this one is not based on any particular metrics. It's just based on the words itself. So this is what it looks like. Okay. We covered a lot of topics. Now, that's not terribly helpful if you're trying to remember what we were looking at. So what I've decided to do is I've created a series of slides that I want to talk about, to look at the different aspects and the relevance of those aspects as we were going through choice. Okay. Now, as to their importance in your life, meaning what would you consider to be of prime importance? That's a very personal choice. All right. And the fact of the matter is, which of these aspects feels important to you will depend on the circumstance, the condition, your frame of mind, many different things. Okay. So you can use these slides as sort of a quick reference, right? And know that all of the episodes for the show are always going to be available, right? Even though the show is ending, the episodes will all be available to you. So let's take a look here. All right. So what is choice all about? Well, at its highest level, Choice is about personal growth. It is about our human experience. It is about social dynamics. And, even though we say human experience, I suppose that we should say simply our experience, because we have both a human and divine side, and our choices do affect our divine experience to the extent that we have to choose to allow all of that goodness. Okay. So these are grouped based on ways in which they would affect us. I'm not going to read through this whole list, but I wanted to have this here. And the only reason for the different colors is just to make it stand out a little bit. All right. But I want to go through these and talk about some of these groupings and what they would mean to you. Okay. So let's go to this slide. Now, for example, and I really feel very strongly that this first one is of prime importance. Okay. Because understanding who you are, understanding your truth, and then being genuine, holding your integrity at all times, and maintaining a sense of dignity, quite important. So if you're interested in looking at that aspect of your life, you can check out the episodes that we've done on identity, authenticity, self-respect. Next in importance, and granted, this is all completely subjective, folks. This is what I looked at and I said, you know what? These are the things that have really made a huge difference for me. Forgiveness, regret, and acceptance, because the emotional process that we go through when we look at the things that are in our past, it's not about going back there and living there. It's about going back to the past and seeing what there is to bring forward and allowing that to inform our choices. And we know, for example, with forgiveness, that if you're struggling in your life, one of the easiest things to do is to consider whether or not there's someone that you need to forgive. That someone might very well be yourself. Okay. I have found that any time in my life that I have been stuck, for some reason, it seems to come back to forgiveness in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Next one is our stories, our mindset, and radical acceptance. Powerful, absolutely powerful choices go into this, right? Because it's our perspective. It's our narrative, and those things carry tremendous weight, tremendous power, right? Being able to recognize our power in shaping our own experiences and how we respond to life events. That's what this is about, folks. That's what this is about. And without a doubt, when we think of who we are, when we think of where we are in this world, when we think of so many aspects of our identity, we know that we bring in our relationships because they're key. I mean, think about it this way. We are both human and divine. What is the most important relationship that you could possibly look to improve or to maintain or to uplift? How about the one with yourself and the one with the loving spirit, God, Gaia, the universe, whatever term you use? All right. So being able to connect, being able to sense and be open to an emotional closeness, so important in our lives. Now, I don't want to go through every single one of these. Let me get back here. But I do want to just briefly show them to you. Okay. So what you'll see in each of the remaining slides here is that there is an association between the specific topic and what it can do for you and how it affects your choice. Okay. And therefore, how it affects your life. So I would encourage you, if you have an interest in exploring this further, to go back and check out some of these. If you've never seen a number of these, I strongly recommend it. And if you have seen them, I also recommend going back, because you learn more from a different perspective. You learn more from different experience. We're always growing if we allow it. We're always getting new input if we allow it. And that growth and that new input changes our perspective. It changes how we consider things. You know, when I read books on New Thought in particular, there are certainly things that I underline and things that I note. I have some books that I've stopped underlining them because I would simply underline everything. But what I also do is I put a date next to some things that I've found, because I find myself fascinated by what they say or how I interpret them or what they mean to me in my life at that time. I try to jot little notes about that. And then I'll go back and look. And in some cases, I have moved far beyond that point. In other cases, I might still be there. And in yet others, I might have found wonderful manifestations of what is being presented. So it is worthwhile to see how some of these topics affect you a month from now, 2 months from now, a year from now. Okay, so we have another one here. And in this particular one, I want to point out two in particular: the awareness, mindfulness, and presence, and purpose, goals, commitment, and motivation. These are incredibly important. I have had so many difficulties resolved because I was able to be aware, mindful, and present. I have been able to get myself out of a rut, get myself out of this stagnation through awareness, mindfulness, and presence. And being able to understand what my purpose is, what my goals are. I know what it is that I'm going to commit to. I can see how I can be motivated, right? All of these reflect our choices, and all of these affect our choices. Okay. And let's see, I think there was one more. Yes. All right. So again, I don't want to just read through all of these, but I do want you to be aware that they're here. And if you find that they're helpful, wonderful. I am delighted. All right. Now, let me see. You know, when I first created this show, I did a lot of research online to see if choice really was something that was important. Let me get this out of the way here. And at that time, I did a search on the internet, and I came up with no fewer than 5.4 billion entries. All right. That's a lot. However, I did the exact same search just the other day, and I found over 13 billion entries. So I'd say, yeah, it's important, and it's still important. And just because statistics can be misleading, I decided, well, I also when I first was looking at this. I did a comparison because I was curious to see how many entries I would find for the word happiness. All right. And in my initial search, I found 1.3 billion entries. My latest search, done at the same time as the search that I did on choice, returned 1.99 billion entries. So we'll call it 2 billion. Not much growth there. All right. So an interesting pattern, very interesting pattern. Choice has become far more interesting, if you will, far more a subject of interest than even happiness. I think that the more we delve into choice, the more we'll find happiness, plain and simple, because happiness itself is a choice. Now, for me personally, I have found that while my ability to see what I refer to as choice points, the choice points are the opportunities that we have to make a choice, right? So I've found that my ability to see those has expanded. And I've found that there are times that the choices feel more important, even more, they carry more weight these days. Now, maybe it has something to do with the fact that I have a crystal clear understanding of the part that I have in defining my own life experience. Then again, maybe it's just the fact that at nearly 74 years of age, there are, statistically speaking, likely to be fewer days ahead of me than behind me. I mean, yeah, maybe I'll be the first guy to live to 150. Who knows? But the recognition that there might very well appear to be greater significance to any number of these choices is interesting to me. It was like, I say it appears to, all right? So let me put it this way. I start looking at the idea of where I am in my life now. I look ahead and say, well, how much more time do I have? And how is that going to affect my choices? And how does that affect this and that? Well, here's the deal. I recently celebrated 43 years of sobriety. Okay. But I achieved that not 10 years at a time or a year at a time or a month at a time, but literally one day at a time. All right. And to be perfectly honest, there were times that it felt like I was only doing it 1 hour at a time. That recognition brings an essential truth for me, front and center. Live as fully as possible today, now. We don't know how many days each of us has been given. So why not make the most of this incredible, powerful gift of life? Why not see every day as an opportunity to live fully? Why not see each choice as an opportunity to co-create the greatest experiences of life possible? Hey, those are both choices, aren't they? So think about it. For me, right? The fact that I might not have more years ahead of me than I have behind me, that doesn't really, truly affect my choice. I have today, I have now. The choices that I make here and now, right, are of great importance. And allowing them to be limited or to be pushed aside in any way because of timing that I really seriously don't know, I don't understand. I can't tell you if I'll be here 5 minutes from now, folks. All right. So there's now. All right. Being able to be in the now, choosing to do so, makes a huge difference. You know, Another big aha moment that I had when I was going through all of this, it was the effect of the subconscious and the unconscious choices that occur regularly throughout the day. My ability to gain awareness and to discern the why of my choices has definitely allowed me to make more conscious, more deliberate, and more discerning choices. So I'm looking at these various takeaways that I've acquired over the past couple of years, some of them earlier than that. But another great takeaway for me was the indispensable importance of mindset. If you've watched this show a number of times, you've probably heard me mention mindset, countless times. But the importance of mindset when it comes to making choices, viewing those choices, and then understanding how the viewpoint of the choices affects my subsequent choices. Incredibly important for me. I could probably list tons of reasons why choice can be compromised, right? Now, I'm not talking about sort of the downside of choice, right, which is what I had spoken about last week. What I'm talking about now are ways in which we limit ourselves completely when it comes to choice. And for me, personally, this is my list. Number one on the list would be having a closed, that is to say, not a growth mindset. So I always endeavor to examine my mindset in a given moment, judging choices as being good or bad. All right. Choices aren't good or bad. They might be effective, they might be ineffective, they might be appropriate, they might be inappropriate. Right? Comparing ourselves to others, comparing our choices to those made by others. Comparison, there are times when comparison is so important, and there are other times that comparison is just so damaging and so limiting. Okay. And then, of course, there's failing to see a choice point, failing to see that you actually have an opportunity to make a choice. Right. So this is my top 5 list of things that I watch out for. I don't think I actually understood when I first developed the show how much of it was going to be about understanding myself. Right. Certainly, I knew that I wanted all of my choices to be in alignment with my beliefs and with my values, but I didn't fully realize how ensuring that became this journey of introspection, enabling me to recognize unconscious biases, which then led to discarding false beliefs, which then led to opening myself to other beliefs that I might not have considered. It takes a significant effort at times, and I'll speak just for myself, to be critical without being judgmental, right? But it's well worth the effort. At one point, looking through these ideas, I was going to create a diagram that showed the relationship between and among all the various topics. But when I tried to do that, it didn't really come out to be an interesting structure. What it turned out to be was like everything was connected to everything. So what I mean by that is the choices that we make that are most effective and the ones that we make that are least effective seem to be determined by the ability to recognize how these factors interact. All right. So you can pretty much connect any of the topics one to the other and find something of value to your exploration when you look at the process of choice. Earlier, I had mentioned that judgment can derail effective choices. Judging something as being good or bad, for example. I want to contrast that with discernment. I look at it this way. When it comes to choices, when I'm being judgmental, that's when I'm assigning terms like good, bad, right, wrong. When I'm being discerning, that's when I get into the idea that a choice is effective, a choice is appropriate for the time, the situation, for the condition, or even for the parties involved. Another thing that I found out that was kind of surprising to me was the importance for me of what I choose not to do rather than what I choose to do. One of the one of the falsehoods, or one of the tricks, traps of spiritual practice is the idea that you have to add something in, that you need more of something. You need more of this, more of that, more techniques, more tools, more. Well, that's not always true. It's not always what you add. Sometimes it's what you subtract. I remember a scene in this movie about a former golf prodigy. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. Tin Cup, Kevin Costner. Right? So he's lost his confidence in his abilities as he's attempting this comeback, and he decides that he's going to try all these crazy gadgets that are supposed to help you correct your swing. And he'd even mocked the gadgets earlier in the film, but when his confidence just waned completely, he was like, well, yeah, I could do this. And he tried this thing, and he tried that thing, and he tried that. And he has all of these things that he's added in, and they did zippo for him. Absolutely nothing. All right. That is not what we want in our spiritual life. All right. We don't want to weigh ourselves down. We want to uplift ourselves. All right. What he needed to do was relieve self-judgment and fear. Sound like pretty good practice in and of itself. So one of my longtime spiritual practices has always been asking myself, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? In recent years, I have added, what is mine to release? Okay. Just as I said, mindset is really crucial when it comes to making choices, so too is truth. We could be speaking of the truth of a situation or a circumstance, the truth of one's beliefs, even the truth of one's memories. All right? But most importantly, the truth of who each of us is. I've found that the numerous explorations we've been through in the course of this show has really helped to shine a light on what is true by dispelling the confusion and the distraction of falsehoods. All right. I'll take it a step further into new thought. All right. Truth with a capital T is also understanding the truth of not only who we are, but also whose we are. All right. By being conscious of and informed by the truth of who and whose I am, the choices I make are far more effective in bringing me into alignment with my true self. without the fear, without the judgment and the biases and the lies that can be and have been so disruptive. All right. So I can deal with this if I am aware. Okay. So these things do not have to dilute my purpose. These things do not have to push me off my path. But I have to make the choice to understand truth. Okay. Well, at this point, folks, look at the time. I want to take a moment here, since this is indeed my last show. I want to take a moment and I want to thank the practitioners, the ministers, the New Thought Media show hosts, all of whom have supported and encouraged me so much during these past 2 years, especially Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, who you probably know is the founder of the New Thought Media Network. Many thanks and many blessings for your insight and your determination in creating this incredible platform and community. And of course, I am grateful for all of you who have watched the show each week and contributed your thoughts, your ideas, your own aha moments. You're very welcome. Thank you, Shay. Right back at you. All right. I must say that I will miss doing this show and having this time together for these explorations. But I want you to know that I am still active on the New Thought Media Network as a prayer practitioner, as a producer, and I need a drum roll here. Ready? As host and producer of my brand new show. Okay. Which will be airing the first Saturday of June, which very appropriately is June 1st. All right, so check this out. The show is called And So It Is, Stories of Truth, Transformation, and Triumph. Okay. We'll be premiering the show on Saturday, June 1st. I'll put up more details as soon as I have them ready. And I look forward to spending time with you on that show. I think you're going to find it to be just truly uplifting. It's going to be an interview show. It's not simply about me. It's going to be your show. So I'm looking for people who have had spiritual transformations in their life. People who have said to themselves, I don't know that I can do this. I don't know that this is possible. I don't know if this is true. All right. And have taken the time to find the truth. They have put in the effort to transform. And they have come to a place of triumph. How glorious that is. So that's what the new show will be. So I look forward to seeing you there. And I'm always here on the network praying. And as always, I do look forward to seeing you. And as always, make the most of your superpower, the power of choice, and make the most of your life experience. I'll leave these words of Deepak Chopra as my final words for this show. Because I always have a choice, I choose love. Oh, thank you, Lori. I'm glad you're looking forward to it. And I hope you're feeling better soon. All right, folks. I am out of here. Much love. So very much love. Namaste.
Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Muro.